What's going on, guys? This is Tom over at 57 Sound Studio, and today we're going to be going over how I wrote and produced a track called Chasing Trophies by Vintage featuring Emily Hopkins. This song was actually part of another Beat Reaction video, which is an ongoing series on Emily's YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, go over to YouTube and search up Emily Harpist. She does a lot of really cool stuff with harps going through guitar pedals, and she actually creates her own music as well. So the first thing she sent us was just two different harp stems, one of the harp soundboard and one of the harp bass. The harp bass I didn't actually wind up using, but I threw the soundboard stem into Machine and chopped it up to create three different sections of a song. You have the intro/chorus, you have the verse, and you also have the pre-chorus. And this is what that sounds like. There's a couple of cool different artifacts like harmonics and stuff that linger around. So let's take a listen. So the first thing I did with this after I chopped it up and printed it, it just seemed right to put a filter on it and bring everything from the intro into the verse. So there is a filter on the harp, and there's actually a filter on the hi-hat group and on the snare group as well. I used three different sets of hi-hats in here. One is from Machine, and two are from a program called Stylus RMX, and they have a lot of cool grooves that you can chop up and take apart and drag MIDI out into your session and edit it to your heart's desire. Those hi-hats, especially in the beginning, they sound like this. And you can hear the filter start to kick in. And then in the verse and chorus, you have two other hi-hats as well. This is the Machine hi-hat, and I believe it's an 808 hi-hat. And then in the chorus, you have another hi-hat come in, and that sounds like this. So that eighth note hi-hat is actually really nice. It just kind of adds some accents to the hi-hat track, where the other two hi-hats that come in just provide movement throughout the mix. The next group we have coming up is the kick and the snares. The kick is just an 808 kick, and it's pretty deep in nature. Just kind of adds a lot of nice low end to the mix, and that's what this sounds like. And then you have two sampled claps, and then a layered with a real clap and a real snap, and those sound like this. And then in the chorus, you have two other snares that come in, and also a snare that's part of a groove that was from Stylus RMX that I actually cut out and created its own track for, and they sound like this. Also in the chorus, you have what they call heavy hands. That was the groove name in Stylus, and I dragged that out into my session, quantized it, and took a couple notes out and separated some stuff. So in the chorus, you have this little groove in here that hops in and sounds like this. And the next thing we have is another riser. This is just something I like to do to kind of differentiate either an intro from a verse from a chorus from a bridge or something. But this one's actually pretty sub-heavy, so it definitely adds a lot of impact when you get into the chorus. And then you also have the bass here. The bass track is from Machine, and it's kind of like this plucky, nice deep bass going on. And you'll probably be able to hear it a little bit better in the verse. And then also in the verse here, you have an electric piano, which kind of just follows the chords and sits in the background. Pretty 80s sounding, but it just kind of gives it some depth. And then once you go back into the chorus, you also have this Dirty Roads. Sounds like more of a pad to me, but that's just what they called it. And it just kind of gives it an extra layer. So those two tracks, the piano and the synth pad Rhodes, are just chords that are being played by the harp. And the next thing I have that comes in here is the guitars. On the guitars, you have just a straight strum, a picking track, and also a solo track. The strum, again, this just follows the piano and the harp, so this is going to be playing the same chords as well. And then once you hit the chorus, you'll have this 16th note picking track. And that's really it instrumentation-wise. We're going to go over the solo section in a minute. And then we also have all of the vocals down here. Honestly, this was just a lot of double tracking. There's 2 unison verse tracks, and that has the verse, the chorus, everything. And then there's also a bottom harmony, a couple other harmonies, and a yelling track. And then there's actually even 2 more harmonies down here. So now if I solo these 2 tracks, you'll just get the verse vocals panned left and right when the verse comes in. Deep in the night. And then on that line there, you have a bottom harmony. And it's really kind of in the background. It's just to kind of beef it up a little bit. So all 3 together. And that harmony again sits really, really far in the background just to kind of give it the body that it needs, because those are higher notes. In the pre-chorus here, we have 2 other harmonies, and those are pinned not wide left and right, but kind of midway. You know I can't And then with the two main vocals. And they carry through to the chorus here. And now I'm bouncing off the wall. You got me going through a drought. Every time I try to call, you block my number, so it's not my fault. And then on this specific line here, it's just two yell tracks. They're just a lot louder than the main vocal. So I sat them really far in the background in the mix. Again, just to give it a little bit more body. Am I the only one who sees it? The secret out there you've been needing, and I'm falling for it. In the second verse here is actually one of my favorite lines, and what I did was cut out a few elements in the song. So if I take all these vocals out really quick, you'll hear what I did right here. And the reason I did that is because you have these two lines here. There's a really nice harmony on them. And being one of my favorite lines, I just wanted it to stand out a little bit more. Always looking for your reason to flex on a good summer season. So that's just a production choice that I made for those two lines. Even if it's only for a split second, I think that it kind of opens everything up and you can really hear the harmony in the left ear shine. And I just wanted to highlight that. I don't know why those two lines are my favorite in the song, but they are. So that's what I did to kind of highlight them a little bit. And then the last track in the song is the solo track, and what I did was took out the harp and the Rhodes just to kind of give it some space to breathe, and then you'll hear the rest of the instrumentation come back in to close out the track. And I'm falling for it. And that track actually kind of finishes off the song. You will notice there's a couple of different things I have going on. In the pre-choruses here, there's automated delays, so they come on and off to only get certain parts of words. And there is some volume automation as well on the guitar track. On the harp track here, if we change this to the volume, you'll see it's coming up and down to kind of keep it relevant in the mix. But other than that, that's the whole track. It's all the instruments, everything I used to produce it. If you guys have any questions, comments, you want to see me make a specific video, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like the channel and the content, feel free to subscribe as well. And the little bell will give you notifications on when I post. Most importantly, if you guys like the song, it is out on all streaming platforms. I'll put a link in the description below. It's called Chasing Trophies by Vintage featuring Emily Hopkins, and I'll see you guys in the next video.